What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to the R&D show. It's your boy Shad. I'm back, and we got a lot to catch up on. We have a lot to talk about. But first, let me say happy Mental Health Awareness Month to any and everyone that takes mental health seriously. Hopefully, you have helped ignite a flame under someone to reevaluate their mental health, to go to therapy, to do the work, to take that self-care trip or go on that wellness retreat or go and get a massage at the spa, um, medicure, pedicure, whatever is needed to help with your mental health. And you've encouraged others to do the same. So again, happy Mental Health Awareness Month. We have a lot to talk about. Where should we start? Let's jump in and talk about Cassie and Alex Fine. So, unless you've been under a rock, you know that the Diddy trial has been taking place. And Cassie spent about 3 days on the stand being cross-examined and recounting her experiences with Diddy. Now, Diddy's not on trial for the things that he's done to Cassie. So there's no way to draw a conclusion of him being innocent or guilty based off of her testimony. What she is providing is her experience with him when it comes to the drugs and the trafficking and the sex and those things that he is actually being charged for. And when people are giving their experience, they are building a picture of his character and who he is and who a lot of us have known him to be just by watching him through the television, the things that we've heard, the reports that have come out, and the moves that he's made. And so some of this isn't as surprising, but some of it is very surprising. And what I will say is Cassie, like many other people who have been victims of emotional abuse, physical abuse, emotional manipulation, financial abuse, sexual abuse, abuse by a individual in a position of power. Whew. When you are in a situation, and we've kind of talked about domestic violence and creating a plan to leave and all of these different things, and some people aren't able to differentiate between the two of it being a situation like Cassie's and a situation like a woman who is with a man and he's been abusive and he's done all these things and he's threatened her life. And abuse is abuse, but the two different situations at hand only differ because in her situation, there's an abuse of power. There's a million/billionaire who has so much control over so many different things, right? And so it makes it a little bit harder for her to be able to just escape, opposed to an individual that is in a situation with a man who doesn't have any power. He can be very threatening, but once she gets the courage to go to the police, get things to protect herself, the peace that passes all understanding, and create a plan that is going to be conducive for her life so that she's able to live a healthy life outside of him by first exiting that situation and having the authorities involved and again having a protection order and all of these other things, and then also something to protect herself just in case she has to defend herself. That is more possible to do in a more timely manner, especially if you're a woman of a particular age, than it is for someone who started off at 19 years old, dating someone who was in a position of power and sold you all of these fairy tales, these dreams, said that they would put you in high places, they would create a career for you, and they had control over your heart, control over your career, control over your life, control over contracts. control over the moves that you made in general, control over your freedom in general, control over any and everything because they had the power. They were in a position of power to where they could control everything. And so her falling into a cycle of being hot and cold when it comes to him is normal for anybody. You know, when you fall in love with someone and you assume that they love you the same, and even if they don't, it takes a minute to filter that person out your system. So it shouldn't be surprising that she tried to move on, but then she went back to him. You know, even if she was talking to somebody else, then she's in his bed, and, you know, the whole freak off situation and just all of these things. And her explaining that she, you know, didn't want to be with him, but then this would happen and this would happen. Or even the people not being able to comprehend the fact that even if she was setting up a freak off, she was setting up the drugs, whatever the case may be, she's now conditioned to be this way. And it wasn't by choice. It started off by, I would say, force or manipulation. But now you're feeling like in order for me to please this person and also protect my livelihood and myself and to hopefully get the things that were promised to me, I have to be a willing participant somehow. I have to do things that I probably normally would have never done, but because I know that he likes these things and my job is to keep him happy. And if I keep him happy, then he won't put his hands on me, or he won't go with someone else, or he won't do this, or he will deliver when it comes to my career and putting my record out and my singles and getting me in front of certain people, places, and things, and setting this up and doing this and doing that. And so there's no doubt in my mind that she became a person who was willing to do these things, but not because she absolutely wanted to, because she just felt like this is the way that it is moving forward. This is what I have to do moving forward. This is what it is. And so acting all surprised that she would set up a freak off or a drug transaction or whatever the case may be, it's not surprising. I mean, when you're dealing with someone who is a master manipulator and a master at being a narcissist, then it's to be expected that this is the role and the cycle that she would, or anyone who was under that umbrella of chaos, would fall into. But what I will say is we have to give her so much love for being able to have the strength to dive into those dark spaces and tell the story, to tell her experience, the things that she lived through, the things that she went through. That's not easy for anyone. And people have so many different opinions about why she didn't do this and why she didn't do that and how come she didn't say this and how come she didn't say that. And it's interesting because these are the same people who don't even speak up when it comes to small things in their lives. You know, having the conversation with your boss about you being so deserving of that raise, you don't say anything. Having the conversation with your barber about how bad your haircut is, or they messed up your line, you don't say anything. You're just upset. You know, having the conversation with your parents about you wanting to set boundaries and you wanted there to be respect in the relationship because I'm an adult now and I choose to be seen as an equal, as a human being, not someone that you can just treat any type of way because I'm your child. You don't have that conversation. Setting boundaries with your significant other about, I need some me time. I need to be able to do things that are helpful to my mental health. I want to be able to go on vacation by myself and to just be free and to feel like, okay, we're not attached. I'm just an individual, and it's okay for me to be with myself and to love me, myself, and I outside of you, and to have friends outside. You won't have that conversation. Yet, so many people want to point fingers and say the conversations that Cassie should have had, not understanding that what she was in was more than an entanglement, was more than a soul tie, was more than anything that I think any of us could have imagined. Because when someone has control, like real control and power, actual power over your heart and your mind, nobody but God can get you out of that situation. Alive, that is. And so the strength of this woman should hopefully be a testament to others and to inspire others, because she's giving you permission to do the same and to evaluate if you're in a situation that isn't healthy or could be going down a road where you're going to eventually lose yourself. It's time to reevaluate. And so hats off to Cassie. I salute her. I think that she understands her power now. She understands her strength. She understands that there's healing and there's freeing in telling a story and not allowing it to own you, but you're owning it. And by owning it, you're able to elevate into the next level of your life. You're able to love freely and wholly to another capacity. You're able to accept that I started here, but I didn't have to stay here, and I can continue running, and I can become a different version of myself, and I can be better, and I can be stronger, and I can be wiser, and I can also be helpful to other people. So just hats off to her. And I have to say, as a man, hats off to Alex Fine, man. I know people will write dissertations about how he may feel sitting there listening to what his wife endured and experienced, forgetting that he was a part of seeing and hearing some of that because he was her trainer in the beginning while she was dating Diddy. So it's not like everything was surprising, but of course there were probably a lot of deep, dark, surprising moments for him. But hats off to a man of standard, a man of virtue, a man that knows what his strength and what his presence and his energy are capable of doing. And that's helping someone broken heal. And that's helping someone who felt like real love and unconditional love wasn't a possibility because they had given it to someone else who didn't deserve it. Now knows what it feels like. Now knows what it feels like to receive the same love, but better, that they were giving out to someone else. Hats off to this man for, even if he felt hurt, even if he got a feeling in his chest, he was interceding for his wife in a certain type of way. He was still sending some type of wave of positivity and empowerment and courage and love. And even if he felt like he wanted to walk out every time it got hard or things that he didn't want to hear, you know, the man sat there and soaked it all in like a sponge, but then released it in such a beautiful way in a letter that he wrote, describing his feelings and the praise that he gives to his wife for having the courage to do something that so many would have never done. This is a good man. This is a man that chooses not to run away when things get hard or tough, even if you have to hear about the woman that you love so much being involved in certain sexual compromising positions and the drug use and the abuse. And even the part that she may have played in any of it, still being able to crown her a queen and put the cape on her and celebrate her as a hero is something that should be studied by so many other men. Such a great moment to have someone to uplift you. And I think that we all need someone in our lives who's able to see past all the bullshit, accept us for who and what we've done, because nobody is perfect. And I've said this before, a good person isn't a perfect person, and a perfect person is a good person. You're just a good person, regardless of the things that you may have done. Your heart is still good. You're still a good person. You've made some mistakes. There's some things that you're embarrassed about that you wish you've never done. There's some things that you don't even want to talk about. But God knows, and people around you know, and you know at the end of the day, you're a good person. And so Alex Fine deserves all of the great things just because of who and what he exemplifies. And he definitely set an example for men. And hopefully, instead of taking away, oh, I could never be Alex, like, I bet he's this, that, and the other. And instead of tearing him apart and trying to dissect him, see him for what it is and for who he is. And examine the man that's in your life, the men that are around you, the men that you are. Because everybody ain't able. Not everybody is built in a certain capacity. Not everybody has a championship mentality. Not everybody has the spirit of a finisher. And so, again, hats off to that man. I want to say thank you for showing us what it looks like to really love someone and support someone regardless of the things that we may be afraid to hear or see. Thank you. Thank you for that. And so, yeah, I think it's been fascinating, interesting, heartbreaking, and all of the above, just hearing and seeing the things that Cassie had to say and go through, and the whole court experience, and Diddy's expressions and his demeanor toward her, and people in the courtroom, and them recounting like the vibe and the energy and how they felt. It's very interesting because it does show when someone gets to a certain point in their life where they do feel like they have the control and they do have the power, they're not too moved by things. They don't have much empathy. You know, I think empathy goes a long way. I think even if you were doing something together, but one person was terribly hurt and or abused or left broken as you moved on with your life, to not be able to have any type of empathy, it just shows who and where you are still currently in your life. And that the whole brother love narrative and spread love was just all fake. There's nothing real about it. It was a facade that you put up to try to detour people from who they know you to actually be. And that's just not a good person. And he hasn't been a good person for a long time. Since making the band, I feel like we started to really see his true colors. And I'm sure even before that, the stories that were told, people already knew his true colors behind the scenes and things of that nature. But when you're not a good person, you're just not a good person, no matter how you try to repaint who you are. You can buy a new canvas, but the painting of who you are remains the same. So yeah, that is my takeaway when it comes to Cassie and Alex Fine. Um, Drop down and let me know your thoughts, your opinions, things that you may agree or disagree with, whatever the case may be. That's what this platform is for us to engage and have conversation. So I look forward to reading what you have to say and responding. And I'm gonna go on to another video. So stay tuned for part 2. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other. Oh, don't forget, share this video, like this video, put it in your family group chats, on your social medias, your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever the case may be. It'd be great to get some new followers in here, some new subscribers, I'm sorry. If you are new and this is your first time watching, feel free to thumbs up and subscribe to the R&D channel and tell a friend to tell a friend. But yeah, that's all I want to say. So till next time, take care of yourself and each other. Peace out.